a replay in the Blucher, which is the dockyard ship that maybe some of you guys are still working on finishing up. I'm curious, do you have her? Have you been playing her? Have you enjoy her? Personally, I haven't really enjoyed her much. I find her very similar to the Prince Eugen at tier 8, of course, but she is a tier 9. So you basically take the tier 8, you make it a tier 9, you put engine boost on it, and whatever. But, you know, in random battles especially, I feel like she's a bit lacking just because of her armor scheme. She's got the same armor scheme, and so very easy to get wrecked. Now, she does have better AP, right, SAT? She's got something special with her AP.
Improved penetration angles.
Okay, so she's got improved pen angles. She was nerfed, actually. That AP was nerfed during testing. But beyond that, it's essentially the same boat, right? I mean, she's got engine boost, but is there anything else besides pen angles?
Well, of course you get the heal. You have one extra heal because it's a German cruiser.
Right.
But, mostly the pen angles you're going for.
Okay.
Reload time is actually a little bit slower than Hipper.
Mm-hmm.
And you also get Destroyer Dispersion, which, in my mind, is not that much, but it's still something.
Now, Destroyer Dispersion, for people who don't understand what that means, it essentially means when you're much closer at, like, short to middle range, that's when the Destroyer Dispersion kicks in and you get that better accuracy. It's not so important in long range, right?
Yeah. Long range, it doesn't matter as much just because it's a cruiser. It's like, unless you want to hit pinpoint stuff, then you're just happy landing on the ship with HE.
Right. Now, I've done a couple of videos of the Blucher, one of the dockyard. The other one, I just did a review of her because people were asking, and I played her in ranked in 2 different methods. One was Lighthouse build, which is like how I play Hindenburg or Prince Eugen. And the other was more of trying to capitalize on the AP. I did better when I tried to capitalize on the AP. And I think part of the problem is playing this ship at long range. The turtleback that she has on it is great at trapping shells at long to medium range. And so it's very easy to get citadeled from far away. I've seen a lot of them in ranked. Most of them haven't done too well. So, do you like her SAT?
I think she's fine, but it's just the nature of tier 9 matchmaking is not very favorable to her. Like,
if you're taking her into randoms, yeah.
Yeah, I've had a couple times where I play in tier 10, I get shot at by like 5 or 6 battleships, and one of them Colombo, one of them Vermont.
Mm-hmm.
Not fun.
Yeah. No, absolutely not.
That does bring up another good tool she has, speed boost. So unlike the other cruisers, she actually can dodge somewhat, which is kind of important because her hull is not really that good at tier 9, as you've suggested. Yeah. She also has a weird problem where she loses her engines, just like the other mid-tier German cruisers.
That's what I found too. Rimda, by the way, thank you for the follow. Welcome on in. So let's take a look at your build. You've got main armaments mod 1, engine room protection. I wonder why. Aiming systems mod 1, propulsion, concealment, and then finally main battery. Obviously, you've gone for hydro instead of defensive anti-air, and you've gone for spotting aircraft. We've always talked about why that's better than a fighter. Now, this is a 20-point captain. I'm surprised you didn't have a 21-pointer you could just throw in.
Nah, I just chucked whatever captain I thought was best on her.
Okay.
I don't think 20 and 21's that much of a difference for her anyways.
The big deal in my opinion is just, you know, if you take last stand, right? Because then that helps mitigate the concerns with engines. Maybe that can help you say, okay, now I can feel better taking an engine boost mod or hydro, you know, instead of engine room protection, right?
Yeah, that would be where my last point goes.
Okay, so you've got gun feeder, because even though the AP is great, the HE is still good too, right? It still has the 1/4 millimeter HE pen, doesn't it?
Yes, it gets the 1/4 HE pen, It's just that her damage output is not really good.
No.
You still rely mostly on HE, but you want to switch to AP quickly when the chance arises.
Right, and that's the key for this boat is it's an AP opportunist. It's not like an AP all the time and then HE when you have to. So you're just capitalizing on opportunities. And then you got priority target, superintendent because it's got a heal, and I mean all the gimmicks. So why not have one more of each? Yes, please. And then concealment. You've gone with adrenaline rush, of course. Top grade gunner. I mean, it makes sense if something's in my concealment naturally, then I can have better DPM. And then you decide to lean in even more heavily into the heavy AP shells. Are you happy with this decision, or would you rather have gone for survivability expert? Do you think?
Yeah, I would definitely make a few changes with this build.
Okay.
Funny enough, I would actually consider taking off I would take off superintendent first and put that in survivability expert.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
And that's because you already start with one extra heal, so I feel like the 5th heal, you don't really heal much anyways, so you can afford to just take the extra HP. Okay.
And what else would you do differently?
Let's see. If I had another point, I would take heavy AP. I would take the heavy AP and actually just keep it there. Never mind.
Like this.
I think. Okay. Yeah, I think that's what I would do.
Yeah, I have it set to just randomly do a clip, so there you go. There's a shout out for do it. Go toss him a follow. He's another North American community contributor, even though he lives in Scotland. Figure that one out. Okay,
you guys
so you
have
like?
A good day.
Yeah, you too, Puddin'. Thanks for hanging out. I'm glad you're feeling better, and I'll see you in the morning.
Yes, sir.
So you like the AP enough to keep that. You figure the 5% extra damage is worth it for you, huh?
There's also the question of where else would I put it?
The only thing I could think of is superintendent or another 2 and 1 point skill. But yeah, that's it. Okay.
Alternatively,
Sorry, go ahead.
the last part I would put is a consumable specialist and consumable expert.
Right. So if you were to drop this, like that.
Yeah. That would be it.
Okay. I mean, this helps you be with the utility, right? Getting your engine boost and your hydro, and to a certain extent, the spotter plane as well. Okay, and then for signals, you've got HP, fire and flood, fire chance, heal boosting. This is hydro boosting, speed, and consumables. You left one flag on the table. Are you trying to conserve flags, or did you just forget to take an 8th?
I just hit recommended flags, and I typically put 6 or 7 on there.
Yeah, because, I mean, if you're, when in doubt, ramming flag is probably a good choice, but...
Yeah.
Well, enhanced secondaries is a good point as well, Recan, because it does have decent range for secondaries. The problem is they just don't really hit anything. But, you know, that's also a possibility, I suppose.
Yeah, you get the normal dispersion, which means you can't hit anything.
Right.
I don't think there's any you don't get any benefits to putting ships in secondary range either. It's not like a battleship where you get there's a skill you can take to increase your main battery reload speed.
Right. Okay. Well, let's take a look at it. Duick, by the way, this is these are replay analyses that we are doing. So if you're not familiar with that, I don't remember if you've hung out or not during these, but feel free to share your opinions on the boat if you'd like. So this is a random battle. Is this like your first game, or have you played it a few times by this point?
I played it a couple times already. I actually had the wrong build for the first few games, because I slotted in I think I slotted in like a secondaries heavy cruiser build. I was like,
wow.
Whoops. the Schroeder build doesn't work on this.
No. Okay. You haven't gotten around to playing yet? Yeah. I would say like this, there's no rush. I'm not a fan of this boat.
And honestly, it's kind of difficult to play it because you're playing a cruiser, and then there's And then there's a non-zero chance of the enemy gaining a Vazama.
Of what?
The tier 9 Russian... The Vizama, the Borodino
Oh.
tier 9.
Yeah. Yeah, we call that the VJJ. So you got the chance of pulling that on your enemy team because you're... And that's happened in ranked because I've played the VJJ all the time and... Yeah. Hey, cool. I pulled in a Blucher. Nice. Kind of usually my response. This is good matchmaking, by the way, for you, right? I mean, you don't have any destroyers to worry about. Just the one sub. A lot of cruisers you can smack with your buffed AP.
One of the better matchmaking, the first couple of matches was against tier 10s, and yeah, as I said, getting shot by Colombo and Vermont is not fun, as we've seen on the stream before.
Hey, Dodolito. Navarin. Now, how is the AP against broadside battleships? Pretty good?
Pen damage. Just don't expect citadels.
Yeah. Because even though it's got improved pen angles, it's still that German AP where, like, does it still have to be, like, flat broadside, and if it's a little bit off, it doesn't pen?
Pretty much.
Okay.
It has the same... Actually has a little bit higher penetration than the other German cruisers.
Okay. Well, yeah, kind of. That's been my experience. I mean... SAT, for example, here, normally you probably want to take the shot, but you know your AP has no chance of penning, and he could switch to HE, which also has no chance of really doing anything. So he's holding his fire. For something better, like that.
Yep, that's pretty much why, because I'm waiting for good targets to shoot at.
Mm-hmm.
The only problem is, I wish I got rewarded for such things.
That would be handy, wouldn't it? Unfortunately, it didn't happen.
Yep. I thought he would go completely turned out, which is usually what they do after they panic like that. Unfortunately, I did not get rewarded.
Nope. But he turned in, so I have a feeling it's coming, right?
Nope.
He disappeared. Wow, he disappeared. Interesting.
Engine boost deactivated.
He was turned out. I was like, I'll just shoot the Navarre once.
Mm-hmm. And... Look at that, 5,500 damage. Good thing you've got the enhanced AP skill. Feeling real good about that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still keeping an eye on the Etract just to see what he's doing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, that's your best chance at doing any meaningful damage, right?
Yeah. I also noticed his engine was hit for whatever reason, so it's like, okay, make sure to not lead as much and finally get rewarded.
Yeah. But the problem, though, is you can't stay here because your team's pretty much abandoned this flank. And you've got... Look at that damage you just took from the Navarin. And those are just 406s. Those are just 16-inch guns.
Oh, and 3 shatters there.
Mm-hmm. Now, you're tied on ships now. Okay.
It's not too bad. I actually like this situation because then I get to push in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I almost like it, except there's this annoying little bug flying around me.
Yeah. Yep. So you've reinforced the sector. Now, you could use engine boost to try to juke him if he goes to strike you. He is.
Engine boost activated.
I didn't notice it in time. So.
Yeah. But you still tried. The problem, though, is that that's turned you sideways to the Navarin.
At 15 kilometers, I would be okay with that just because that engine boost lets me dodge more.
Mm-hmm.
It's a risk I'm willing to take.
Okay.
Problem solved, sir.
It looks like he's shooting... Yeah, alright, he's shooting the Carl anyway. So, fortunate
like-
for you that the Carl decided to turn in.
Thank you for your sacrifice.
Because you know he's dead. It's just a matter of time. And will he take anybody with him? Probably not. Now he's starting to show side again, so going to AP. And the Varn's a hard nut to crack with AP because it doesn't have a lot of superstructure.
Thankfully, the HE lets me do pretty good damage. Like that, that extra HE penetration is super useful for that moment.
Took another decent hit there. Parsifal really... Oh no, he gave up on you. Okay.
Parsifal, the German AP dive bombers, they don't have very good accuracy against cruisers.
Right. Yeah, they're better for battleships. Still, since he struck you last time, I wouldn't have been surprised if he went after you again.
He probably just saw the Johann about to die and he just wanted to kill.
I suppose so. A little bit on the greedy side, because I'll tell you, if I was the Parsifal, I probably would have dropped you. Because I would look at my team and be like, yeah, that's a dead Carl, you know? So you're gonna keep shooting the Navarin?
Yep. See if I can finish him, but he's just out of range. Just not worth it anymore. I didn't notice until just as he jumped out.
Yeah. If anything, maybe you can get a base decap on him or something.
And also, I'm keeping an eye on the Parsifal because he is the biggest threat to me. So I have to watch him.
Yep, and look, now he's striking you again.
Torpedoes astern.
You can take all three. Ooh,
I had
that's
skill
rough.
issue.
Skill issue indeedy.
Problem solved, sir.
So now he might set a sticky flood on you. Nope.
No, he dropped a little bit too close, so I was able to just get inside.
And the Charles Martel's fighter plane actually lashed, which is really good for you.
So when you're fighting the carrier like that, you want to try to isolate. You see how far back I am? Like, yeah, there's like all the battleships on my side, so I had to basically run away and isolate that fight.
Because otherwise, you might have to deal with battleships firing at you while you're also trying to dodge torpedoes, whatever else.
Yep, and that would be the worst case scenario.
I completely agree. Completely agree. Tulsa's... Like, the rest of the enemy team is all just backing up, except the Wu Jing. That's interesting. So now you're just going into farm mode, right? You're just gonna sit back, pen everything with your HE, and just not think as much.
I don't want to go in just yet, because that blob's a little bit too big.
Yeah. And you are still down a ship.
Yep, I at least wait for my heal to come back up. Oh, and since Scharnhorst is not looking at me anymore, that's when I start to get ready to turn in.
Yep, I can see that already. You're starting to turn a little bit more than you normally would. Tried an AP shot.
So
did okay.
when you're looking to turn in, you can actually start to maneuver once you notice the enemy's turrets are turning away. Since Sharn is clearly just going to run away, he's not going to keep his turrets on me. So that gives me the perfect time to run in.
Also, you've got priority targets, so you can tell if he's targeting you anyway.
Yep.
Now you're going to stay on the Scharnhorst because he's a lower health target, right? Compared to the Wu Jing.
Yes.
I just noticed your team doesn't have the B cap. That's kind of funny.
B cap is a lie.
It's lava. And then your poor sub. Lol.
Well, I don't have any sympathy for him. Partially because he's a sub, but also partially because he's annoying.
He's also in a really bad position. And somehow detected, and the only way that happens is if he's pinging, or a plane flies over him. Or I guess if he's on the surface and Tulsa radared. Maybe that happened.
Didn't have time to figure out, so yeah.
No. So you're already going in a kite away position because you don't want to get in range of everything else while you're charging.
That, and I don't want Wuchi to get a lucky salvo and just nuke me for the rest of my health.
Yeah.
And also CV.
Yep. And they've got, again, another battleship to shoot at. Speaking of CV, hi, carrier. He does really want you dead, doesn't he?
Yep.
Wow, nice dodge there. And you weren't even looking either. You're like, I'm SAT score. I'm too good. I'm just gonna, you know, keep going straight and pray. Well, there you go.
These torps also don't do too much damage, so I'm willing to just take one and say, okay.
Yeah. Yep. They're faster speed. I love how people are clicking on you now. They're upset with you. Why are you still alive over there? You should be dead. Or, you know, in the game and dying. Something like that.
Yeah, that guy was pretty annoyed. He did not have any map awareness. I'm like, dude, look, we're both almost dead. We actually just killed a few ships too.
Mm-hmm.
Like we are doing our jobs.
Didn't want to say, also say, and diet was implied. See, exactly, that's what I mean. Like, okay, whatever. Wow, he actually went dark. That's hilarious.
Deactivated.
So, I think he just fired. So you can turn. Why are you firing those torpedoes? Aren't they 6 kilometer?
8 kilometers.
Oh, they're 8 now. Okay.
Yeah, they're 8. It's honestly not that much of a difference, but I figured, hey, if he just somehow goes into here and he somehow doesn't die, then I guess it may do something. At
And it
least
makes you feel better.
Yeah. Funny enough, even if it doesn't hit, it still has a psychological effect of distracting him for a few seconds. And that does sometimes help.
Well, there goes your other battleship shield.
He served his purpose. I'm just disappointed he also took the kill.
At tier 9, 6 kilometer torpedoes be nearly useless. Well, yes. But doesn't Brandenburg at tier 9 have 6 kilometer torps?
Brandenburg, yeah, the tier 8 gets 6. Most German ships do get 6 kilometers.
Yeah. So it's a little confusing.
Yeah, I don't know why they put 8 kilometers on the Blucher. Like,
Yeah.
you would see no difference between 8 and 6 here.
Rune and Hindenburg also, right? 6 kilometer. For that matter,
Yep.
the super cruiser, a Clausewitz, that also 6?
That might be the one that's actually 8. Let's see.
Okay. I don't remember. Now you could engine boost here to try to get to sea quicker, right?
Claws is also 6.
That's what I thought.
I got nothing. Balancing department does mysterious things.
Look, Wargaming, put the AP performance back when it was testing and then just put the torpedoes to 6 and call it a nerf. Right?
Yeah.
And then it's in line with all the other ships. It just 8 feels odd. It really does feel odd.
Battle ends in 5 minutes.
But
5
hey,
minutes to go.
It still has the same 13,700 damage as any other German torpedo. So it's not all that bad.
Enemy aircraft.
Now you could have been using your plane as well, right? To help you with accuracy over the distance, right? Hey, Invictus.
I could, but then I saw a carrier, so I was like, eh, let's just get the carrier out.
Never mind. Brain off. Kill carrier. I'm with you there. But then you saw the Navarin being very low. And he's
Yeah,
turning
I
in
actually
too.
I expected him to die earlier, so I didn't bother.
Yeah. So now you're just keeping an eye on the York to make sure the York doesn't shoot you for whatever reason. And you're watching your secondary range and his secondary range, right?
More his planes, because he is. I'm attacking him, so naturally he must attack me.
Well, and he's been attacking you the whole game. I'm surprised he's not using rockets. That's probably the better choice against you.
He might have been out. I wasn't paying. I didn't pay attention to his plane situation, but I do agree.
Hey, look, he's in torpedo range. Oh my God! Now you're playing with your food.
Yep.
SAT school, if anything goes, XP grinding. Get something low, carrier, and just keep farming plane kills. Better XP earnings.
No one is shooting him, so I actually have a few. I can afford to spare him for a few salvos. But then again, he's also a carrier.
He's also a carrier, and therefore must die. Wow, that was earlier for you. I thought you would have kept it a little bit longer.
I probably should have just turned in as well, just ate the rockets.
Yeah, you could have done that.
Yeah, but I think that's just more reflex, because I don't like eating big damages.
Yeah, if you turned in, like, you know, you could also farm the cap planes on a carrier too, right? Citadel like that? Wow.
German armor schemes are weird at times.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. Yeah, this is definitely a GG. Your Parsival, he said, GG, I tried. He did try very hard. I think his decision... Go ahead.
Yeah, he gave it a good effort.
I think his decision to ignore you that one time and go for the Carl was probably his biggest mistake. If he would have just dropped you, even if it wouldn't have gotten a Citadel on you or something, that might have pushed you farther back.
Possible.
Oh well.
But even if he landed, unless he landed a Citadel, which I don't think is likely, that may not have changed anything. Hard to say.
Yeah. Always hard to play the what if game. At least he didn't Blucher it. I see what you did there. I see what you did there.
Gosh dang it.
Almost 200,000 damage. You got Confederates, Dreadnoughts, and high caliber. Got yourself 2 kills. First place. Of course. Of course. Where's the sub? Oh, he came in 3rd. Mr. Chatterbox. Only 2 kills. The Indroct, which, I mean, you got fortunate he turned in and then kept turning in circles and then you killed him. And then the Parsival.
Yep, Navarin was mostly fire damage. The others was just chip.
Now, I'm curious, with your AP shells here, 103 shots, or 103 hits out of 216, and 113,000 damage and half. I don't know about you, that doesn't seem like that much.
And that would be about 5,500 damage less if I didn't have that skill equipped.
Right.
I think that's it.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to think about, like, is that AP skill that useful on this boat? I don't know.
Not really.
Yeah, I think you're better off going utility, and whatever. But hey, like you said, you were playing around with it, trying it out, and see what worked, right?
Yeah. It's better suited for, like, the big caliber ships like iCUE, or, mostly iCUE.
Yep, or Viasma, right? The Vijay. It's good AP hits for that.
The 100% balanced burst fire ship.
Yes. So, we'll watch the replay render, and chat, what do you guys think we can put for a title for this one?
There just wasn't any more opportunity to farm cruisers, because I feel like that's what Blucher would do best at, just shooting at broadside cruisers.
Oh, absolutely. And when I saw the setup, I was thinking that's what I was going to see in this replay. No glue factory for this boat? But it didn't work out that way, and you were forced to kind of play more the traditional farming boat and stuff like that, and the games and all whatever. So that's fine.
Yeah. If I had a different tier 9, it's possible. If, for example, I had the Azuma, I might be able to break 200k. Don't know about the EXP difference though.
Mm-hmm.
That's just kind of the nature of the Blucher though. The more you invest into AP, the less damage you tend to get, just because AP usually results in more like direct damage. You're not reliant on fire damage that's 100% healable.
Yeah, if you're going for the farm approach, you're going to get bigger damage numbers because they're just going to heal through fires and you just keep setting them on fire. But even then, her fire chance, especially with the lower DPM, just isn't that great.
It's not great, but at least you get direct pen damage, so it compensates a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Young Franken-Bote. Ooh, I like that one. SAT, what do you think?
Let's do it.
Or I might just call it Franken-Bote, but either way, that's a great one, Wolfie. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to start the poll now. It's a 10-minute poll then. You guys can vote for which replays should go out to YouTube. Really appreciate you, Wolfie. Always coming up with some good titles. You and Gaelic, like I said. Yeah, you guys are naturals. But you know, like there's not really much to talk about through this replay. I mean, it's just I think he did a great job of demonstrating just how fragile this boat is and how careful you have to play it, you know? It's not an easy boat to just go and do things with.
Mm-hmm. I'm a tier 9 cruiser that's down tier, and I was still having problems with survivability.
Well, you were, yeah, I mean, you're top tier in this game, right?
Yeah, top tier cruiser, and I was still kind of like playing on the edge of death a couple times.
Right. So that's why when people ask me about her, I call her a tier 8.5. She says she's tier 9, but I really think they rounded up in her case.
Yeah, it's if I were to take like a tier 9 ship, honestly, how would you rank her in terms of tier 9 cruisers?
Among the bottom. One of the worst. I'd probably put her maybe Seattle below her. But I don't know. I mean, there's a bunch of decent to good tier 9 cruisers. Neptune. Okay, maybe Neptune would be below her. Yeah.
I put the Hector and Dalian below her as well.
Okay. Yep. Those are good choices. All right.
Click the follow button and write
Yeah,
something
I
in
feel
chat.
I feel like her AP gimmick, it's nice on paper, but in practice isn't really that helpful.
No.
You saw how much I was using HE in that game.
Yeah, and she just lacks the survivability to be able to put herself in positions to make that stuff happen, which is honestly, I think, a struggle of Rune as well, you know? So, you know, it is what it is. Either way, SAT, thank you for sharing the replay, and it was good to look at. So appreciate you.
For showcasing.